Hey, what's up everyone? Before we jump into this perfect opportunity that just fell into the Knicks' lap, I just want to ask you for a quick favor that would mean the world to me. If you could just take 1 second right now and hit that like button, it would be incredibly important to me and helps this channel grow so much. I know it seems like a small thing, but those likes genuinely make a huge difference in getting this content out to more Knicks fans who need to stay updated on everything happening with this team. So seriously, just tap that like button real quick. It literally takes 1 second and it helps me out more than you know. I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to do that. All right, now let's get into this golden opportunity for the Knicks, because the timing of this is almost too perfect to be coincident. What's up everyone? So I was watching First Take on ESPN earlier, and they had this segment about the New York Knicks that had me absolutely fired up, because there's a golden opportunity that just fell into their laps at the absolute perfect time. Stephen A. Smith and the panel were breaking down how after Malcolm Brogdon shocked the NBA world and Knicks fans by retiring from basketball, Leon Rose and the Knicks organization have had to pick up the pieces and now go out there to find a new backup point guard for this team. The perfect opportunity fell into place almost as if it was destiny for the Knicks to go out there and make what seems like such an obvious move. And honestly, when they revealed who became available, the timing couldn't have been better. Hey, what's up everyone? Before we jump into this massive Knicks news, I just want to ask you for a quick favor that would mean the world to me. If you could just take 1 second right now and hit that like button, it would be incredibly important to me and helps this channel grow so much. I know it seems like a small thing, but those likes genuinely make a huge difference in getting this content out to more Knicks fans who need to stay updated on everything happening with this team. So seriously, just tap that like button real quick. It literally takes 1 second and it helps me out more than you know. The show started off by recapping the Malcolm Brogdon situation and how it created this emergency need at the backup point guard position. Both Shams Charania and Stefan Bondy had reported that Malcolm Brogdon was going to be making the Knicks roster. This wasn't just speculation, or maybe he makes it. It was confirmed he was going to be on the team. The Knicks had wanted Malcolm Brogdon for years, going back to 2022. This wasn't something new. They had been pursuing him for a long time. They finally were able to get their hands on him and bring him to New York. However, Brogdon ultimately didn't feel like he was able to stay at NBA speed anymore after dealing with chronic injuries throughout his career, so he made the difficult decision to retire from the sport. Stephen A. mentioned that he still thinks it was maybe not the smartest financial decision, because Brogdon was apparently 1 year away from being eligible for NBA healthcare benefits, which would have made a lot of sense to stick around for, but to each their own, and everyone wishes Malcolm Brogdon nothing but the best for his retirement and the rest of his life. He had a wonderful career and is absolutely a massive success story, especially considering he was just a second-round pick who turned himself into a Rookie of the Year and 6th Man of the Year throughout his career. But here's the thing, when it comes down to the Knicks, they just have to push forward from this setback. They have to find a way to add another backup point guard to this team if that's what they ultimately decide they want to do. They do have talented guards already on the roster who aren't going to be starting. Deuce McBride is there, Jordan Clarkson is there. You could try to see if Tyler Kolek is actually playable and NBA ready this year. There are options that the Knicks have. It's not like they don't have any options whatsoever. At the same time, the panel discussed how we know the organization views Jordan Clarkson as more of a two-guard or shooting guard. We know they see Deuce McBride as more of a combo guard who can play both positions. They honestly see Clarkson as a wing at certain points as well, and they look at Tyler Kolek as a younger developing guy who they're not sure has reached his full potential yet, and they clearly don't fully trust him yet. It's very evident based on their move. The Knicks wouldn't have signed another point guard, they wouldn't have pursued Brogdon so aggressively in the first place, and been so interested in adding Clarkson if they truly believed in Tyler Kolek's ability to be the backup point guard right now. if we're being completely honest. So here's where things get interesting. They do now need to go out and look for other guard options on the market. And the absolutely perfect opportunity fell right into their lap at the ideal time. As it was recently reported, the Charlotte Hornets are waiving veteran guard Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie is an 11-year NBA veteran who had signed a one-year deal with the Hornets back in July during free agency. Charlotte had to release a guaranteed salary ahead of the season opener next week, and they chose to waive Dinwiddie over other players on their roster, like Pat Connaughton. Now, last year in 27 minutes per game for the Dallas Mavericks, Dinwiddie put up 11 points, 2.6 rebounds, 4.4 assists, got a steal per game, can absolutely be the main ball handler and primary facilitator, shot 41% from the field and 33% from deep. Spencer Dinwiddie went out there and did everything you could have possibly wanted from him as a backup guard in Dallas. And now he can potentially do that exact same thing with the Knicks. The panel was getting really excited about this fit. Considering that Dinwiddie is 6'5", similar in size to someone like DeLon Wright, who they had been discussing as an option, what the Knicks would be getting is an opportunity to bring in a guy who really would be able to guard multiple positions and can play a few different positions himself, but can also be that lead ball handler off the bench. This gives the Knicks a ball handler that not only fits this team's system really well, but also Jalen Brunson is extremely familiar with Spencer Dinwiddie from their time together. The two of them played together on the Dallas Mavericks, where Dinwiddie was that team's sixth man back in 2022 when they made that run to the Western Conference Finals. That 2022 playoff run was where Jalen Brunson initially broke out and showed the entire league what he could become, what he would eventually turn into and way beyond with the Knicks. Dinwiddie and Brunson played a significant amount of time together when Luka Doncic was out against the Utah Jazz in those 3 games that Luka missed during the regular season. Everyone was basically writing the Mavericks' obituary during that stretch, thinking they were done without Luka. But Brunson and Dinwiddie were the main factors that prevented that collapse from happening. They were each putting up 20-plus point games consistently and doing their thing to keep Dallas afloat. So these two players know each other's games extremely well. They're familiar with playing together, and you could even play them together on the court at the same time if you wanted to. At the same time, Dinwiddie absolutely gives another true ball handler onto this roster that you can trust with primary point guard duty. Stephen A. brought up the hilarious point that Dinwiddie also spent a lot of time with the Brooklyn Nets and spent a lot of time trash-talking the Knicks during those years, but at the same time, he would easily be willing to cross that bridge and go play for the Knicks now. The Knicks are a legitimate contending team, and it makes total sense to want to go back to a city that you're very familiar with already. On top of that, he'd be playing for a team that actually has passionate fans, and secondly, has a genuine chance at winning the NBA Finals. The Knicks have the 4th best odds to win the championship according to Vegas, so Dinwiddie is best suited on winning teams, and this is an absolutely perfect situation for him where he gets to go to a winning team with a star player in Brunson that he's very, very familiar with playing alongside. Now the Knicks again have other guards on the roster. It's not like they don't have any options, but they lost Malcolm Brogdon, who was going to be their backup point guard, and their other true floor general. Brogdon put up 12.7 points per game last year, 4 rebounds and 4 assists, shooting 43% from the field and 28% from 3, including 40% on corner threes specifically. But he didn't feel like he could physically hold up anymore, so he ended up retiring from the league. On top of losing Brogdon, the Knicks do have Jordan Clarkson, who last year was excellent in Utah, putting up 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 41% from the field and 36% from 3. Clarkson is an excellent shot creator, and he's definitely a score-first type of guard. If the Knicks do want to look for more of a true floor general facilitator type, which is not exactly what Jordan Clarkson's game is about, then Dinwiddie makes a ton of sense as that complement. The panel wasn't saying Clarkson cannot be the lead guard. They've said multiple times that Clarkson can easily handle being the lead guard, he's an excellent ball handler, and can run an offense. He's just more of a score-first lead guard, which is perfectly fine, and has value. He put up 16 points per game in Utah. If he could replicate that production with the Knicks, that would be phenomenal for the second unit. They acknowledge that Clarkson has been a little bit slow and inconsistent in the preseason, but preseason performance doesn't really matter in terms of predicting regular season success. Players aren't always great in preseason, then go out and have excellent regular seasons all the time. That's not new, and that's not something we haven't seen countless times before. The Knicks also have Deuce McBride, who is absolutely awesome, and everyone knows Deuce is awesome. Deuce put up 9.5 points per game last year, 2.5 rebounds, and 3 assists, while playing excellent perimeter defense. The analyst made a really interesting comparison, saying he sees Deuce as kind of an Avery Bradley type of player, really a two-guard who could fit in at the one if there are some point-forward types on the squad, but he's really a smaller two-guard who plays excellent defense and punches above his weight class quite well. The optimal player comparison for Deuce McBride is literally Avery Bradley from his Boston Celtics days. When you look back at Avery Bradley's tenure, especially with Boston, you see a lot of the same characteristics and skill sets. Deuce is shooting 37% from 3 and 39% on corner threes specifically. He's an absolutely excellent role player. So when looking at all that, you can see that Deuce could definitely fit in at that backup point guard spot if necessary, but the panel likes him and Clarkson a little bit more playing off the ball, where they can use their scoring ability. They could handle point guard duties in a pinch, but adding Spencer Dinwiddie gives a whole another layer to this team, one that would be very welcomed for the Knicks' championship aspiration. They showed Dinwiddie's advanced numbers and metrics, and they looked really solid. He finds himself dominating the ball 29% of the time that he's on the court, meaning he's actually holding and controlling the ball, and that's in the 91st percentile league-wide. So we definitively know he can play the point guard position at a high level, which is really, really important for what the Knicks need. He passes the ball really well and does everything you want to see out of a facilitating guard. He gets to the free throw line well, which is valuable. His recovery on defense isn't great, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world that his recovery percentage on defense isn't elite. Obviously, he's not there primarily for defensive purposes. He's not the world's worst defender, but he's not a lockdown defender either, if that makes sense. There are moments where Dinwiddie can be inefficient with his shot selection, but at the same time, he is undeniably a valuable player who brings real skill. His advanced metrics actually match up quite well with Jordan Clarkson, who the Knicks just signed. So if you go out there and add Dinwiddie, you're getting another nice bench player for this team. All of a sudden, your bench depth is right back to where it was before Brogdon retired, maybe even better, given the familiarity with Brunson. The panel thinks this is an easy signing decision for the Knicks to make. Obviously, if the Knicks do want to bring in Dinwiddie and also keep one of Landry Shamet or Garrison Matthews, it's the same roster crunch situation where they're going to have to trade one of either Tyler Kolek or Pacome Dadiet to open up that additional roster spot. So that's where the difficult decision comes in. Are you willing to trade one of Kolek or Dadiet specifically for Spencer Dinwiddie? That's the big question the front office has to answer. The show also mentioned that the Knicks made multiple roster moves over the last 24 hours as they went on a signing spree to fill out that Westchester Knicks G League team. Some of these guys include Donovan Williams, who's a very nice scorer that can shoot the ball quite well, very aggressive attacker, very interesting developmental player who will play with Westchester and could potentially steal a two-way contract at some point. The Knicks also brought back Summer League standout Isaiah Roby for their G League affiliate. Roby has been around Leon Rose's Knicks organization for a while now, in various capacity. They also signed and then waived Romeo Langford, which is interesting because Langford was actually productive with the Spurs the last time he was in the NBA. His shooting was never super efficient, but he was a very good defender. Very athletic player who can play the 1 through 3 positions. He put up 6.2 points per game with the Spurs in his final NBA season during 2022-23 before falling out of the league. He did play in the G League mainly during the 23-24 season, where his shooting really jumped up significantly. He shot 37%, from 3, which was always the biggest question mark with Romeo Langford's game throughout his career. Langford put up 10 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists in the G League, played quite well, showed his usual good defense, and again shot 37% from 3, which is a massive improvement. He's someone the analyst said he's very interested in the Knicks taking a deep look at during training camp and G League play, and he's really excited to see what exactly happens with Romeo Langford going forward. Langford was his favorite of all these little signings the Knicks made to fill out their system, and he wanted to mention it because he thinks it could be very important as the season progresses. So that was the full First Take segment on the Knicks' golden opportunity, with Spencer Dinwiddie becoming available at the perfect time. And honestly, the fit makes so much sense given the Brunson connection and the skill set Dinwiddie brings that this feels like destiny for New York to make this move happen.